when we get a bit of weather, we might be able to sit out in the garden. And we have a planning permission for a photo building here.
On behalf of the CWU, I'll invite Oak Ronahare and Michael D. Higgins to say a few words. Good morning.
Well, I gynnu cwr ar y gydol sias gyda mil y magu a sact yn ffyrcyd fwysio a dar y sibrwg. Ac a se tris liam na, tris ta si silia gan air leis na rang gan y blian to. It's a very great pleasure to be here. I have shared many experiences with members of the Communication Workers Union in their different incarnations into different unions over the years. I'm delighted to and join with you in paying tribute to William Norton's sons, Kevin and Brendan, who are here. And must been enormously pleased that their father has been honoured in this way. It is a great privilege to be here on the occasion of the official opening of this splendid headquarters named William Norton House for the Communication Workers Union. I wish them success. I wish them all the benefits that their intellectual integrity and that their militancy has in fact delivered for the Irish people over the decades. Thank you very much.
And I just want to echo the welcome of our President Cormac O'Donoghue to all of you here today. Very, very pleased that you could all attend, and I just want to reiterate what an honour it is for this union to have the President of Ireland open our new home. We tried to name this building after William Norton in Dave's time, but he often says it was one of the things he didn't manage to win at the time, but we resurrected it when we rebuilt the building, because we have a history being written of the union at the moment by Francis Devine, who has been called the foremost labour historian in the country. And the amount of things he uncovered about your father is incredible. He leaves behind an incredible legacy altogether, and it's a pleasure for us to name the building after him. I sincerely believe that the trade union movement is a force for good, and it's absolutely necessary to create balance in society. It's a miracle in some ways how strong trade unions are in this country when you consider that we have no legal right to collective bargaining, and that we suffer almost incessantly from anti-worker media. And in those circumstances, to still have the biggest single civil society organisation with almost 600,000 members, I think it's a tribute to the people who are active, but it's a tribute to the Irish people who understand the need for trade unionism. Could I say, President, that your presence here today has made this an even more special day for this union. We are proud of our new building. It allows us to reach our members in a new way, to use new technologies, video conferencing, phone conferencing. It allows us to share the facilities with our comrades. And to have you come here today will be an occasion that will be long marked in our history, and I sincerely thank you for that.
We're talking about the opening of a new building. My father used to always talk about when he bought the previous building, which is in Parnell Square, he had 10 shillings in his pocket and there was mushrooms growing on the stairs. I'm not quite sure how he managed to finance it, but that was my recollection of him talking about buying the first building. This is the 1920s, so it's a very different building here today than happened in those days. That was one of my recollections. The other one was when he eventually retired as General Secretary. I was a young student at home and I was able to drive, so I was delegated to collect him from one of these functions, and like most functions it overran, so I was there before the end and I got a lot of the speeches on the occasion. And the thing that he was most remembered for on that occasion was he introduced the Conciliation and Arbitration Act, got it through the government at the time. And this causes, as he told me afterwards, this caused major concern in the Department of Finance, who said this will be the end of the finances of the state if we went to conciliation and arbitration. So they were two of my great memories of him in regard to POWU, which, apart from my wife, my mother was one of his great loves.
What would he think of today? What would he think of the Labour movement today? Would he be in favour of the coalition? What would his views, or would he be?
Well, he was in coalition. He obviously would have no problem with that. I think he would understand the difficulties, because when he went into the inter-party government in '48, they inherited a somewhat similar economic background, and he fought through those difficult times, but he never allowed the difficult times impede his vision for what was needed. He was in social welfare, and he started a great movement to improve the social welfare situation, and a lot of the things that he would have started at that stage have come to fruition over those years. He wouldn't allow economic difficulties dull his vision.
Well, William Norton was effectively the leader of the Irish Labour movement for a very long period of time, both as Taoiseach and as leader of the Labour Party and as General Secretary of the Post Office Workers Union. This was a period which was tumultuous in terms of splits and divisions within the Irish Labour movement. He made a very solid and contributing or continuing contribution. I think he shaped really the modern labour movement, quite frankly. He stabilised all of the difficult problems that were there at the time, and he's left us with the legacy that we have today, and it's very appropriate, I think, that it should be represented in this very fine, magnificent headquarters of the Communication Workers Union named after him.